I've been having one already, so
good. Yeah, well, it's personal. See, there's corporate, and there's personal.
Started at 5, unfortunately.
Wow, way to go.
It's 4 in Waco.
Well, that's not unfortunate, right?
No, I
Yeah.
got a good time in the Word, good prayer time, nice long walk, workout, breakfast.
Yeah.
I've done it all. I've done
5
some
hours.
emails.
We need to have you preach a little bit today, then.
I feel productive.
So here we go. So, been meditating on this whole thought of the commandments of God. You know, that they're good and they're clean and they're right and they're pure and they're true. And it's not just Old Testament that deals with it, right? Jesus said, if you love me, you do my commandments. If you're my friends, you do my commandments. Children, obey your parents, Lord, which is the first commandment with a promise. So that reality that the commandments of God are rich, and they're right, they're clean for those who want God. And here's a couple of Proverbs. It says, my son, if you'll receive my sayings and treasure my commandments within you, make you attentive to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. If you cry for discernment, then you will discover the knowledge of God. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
My son, do not forget my teaching. Let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Isn't that awesome? And so the commandments of the Lord, it said that promise where if we fear the Lord and delight in His commandments, our children will be mighty on the earth.
Yes.
And that's disciples / natural children. So the deal is what I always try to focus on is that, am I delighting in the Lord? Am I delighting in the commands of the Lord? I can delight in the Lord. This is a weird deal. You can be an extravagant worshiper and not delight in the commands of the Lord. You ever notice that? I mean, like, hey, there's a lot of people that love worship, but I'm not sure they delight in the commands of the Lord. And that means it's an impure worship. It's not that we shouldn't still worship. There's just something about spirit and truth together. So anyway, what I did was I took a few days last week and meditated on the 10 Commandments and just had a glorious devotional life.
Yeah.
See, people throw them under the bus. I was thinking, reading the 10 Commandments and saying, which one don't you like? I mean, which one of these is bad?
It's bad.
If we're saying these are wrong.
People don't like rules and laws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but these are the good ones, right?
Know,
yeah.
Right.
So
they're for your bus.
So it says, verse 6, Deuteronomy 5:6. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery.
North Luke.
North Luke.
You're gonna go
Quick.
417 south.
Sorry,
South.
there you go.
All right. So here we go. Starts off. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. If you couldn't just dance and worship on that one thought, right? You need to go to Romans 8. Didn't give a spirit of slavery, spirit of fear leading to slavery again, but a spirit of adoption. All right. So he brought out slavery, and here we go. You shall have no other gods before me. Not a bad commandment.
You're gonna take this to 408.
Okay.
So, no other gods. All right, so we got no other gods. You shall not make for yourself any idol or any likeness which is heaven above or on earth beneath. All right, so no idols, no graven images, won't hurt you. And said, you shall not worship them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. That's a great word when God says He's jealous. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children of the third and fourth generation, but showing loving kindness to the 1,000th generation. So if I'm not an idolater and I don't put other images before me other than the image of God, then the scripture says there'll be blessing to the 1,000th generation instead of curses to the third and fourth generation. I feel like preaching and say, does anybody believe this anymore?
I got a witness.
I have a witness.
Amen.
Anybody believe this anymore? Don't take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Okay, not a bad commandment. No GDs, no saying Jesus' name without honor, no loose kind of jokes about presence of God, person of God. Observe the Sabbath, won't hurt you at all. 6 days you shall labor all your work, but the seventh day you'll rest. Honor your father and mother, first command with a promise. Good stuff. Don't murder. I like that people like that one. Don't commit adultery. Another good thing. Don't steal. Another good thing. Don't bear false witness against your neighbor. And don't covet your neighbor's wife, nor desire your neighbor's house, his field, or his male servant. No comparison is basically what it says. And there we go. So my deal is, meditating on that stuff and saying, God, I want to delight in that. I don't want to just like stay in the rules box, like, hey, did it, didn't do it. But I want to delight in the commands of the Lord and then believe that whatever we do today will have the fruit and the presence of God. So,
Amen.
yeah, it bugs me a little bit when we throw the commandments under the bus as if there's something wrong with them, because the New Testament affirms it in the same way that the Old Testament does, not so that we might be righteous standing before God, that's the grace of God, but so we might live alive. So there we go, there you have it. Lord, give us that today.
Or eat Devo with Jimmy.
Give us that today, in Jesus' name.